So if you look at your life now, where do you get time just to zone out, just space to be? What's the balance like? I'm going to guess that that's probably a bit off. Now, I know your career is probably flying, but that takes more concentration now thanks to fatigue and the fact that your menopause brain just requires so much more from you. And then when you get home, you don't get time to decompress. There's always someone there wanting to talk to you when you just want to get out of your head and check out for 5 minutes. And then that makes you feel guilty because these are the people you love, right? When was the last time you truly had space? Where no one needed anything from you, when your mind wasn't racing ahead to the next thing. The real challenge of menopause isn't just the symptoms, it's how little mental bandwidth you actually have to deal with them. I know that you're already carrying so much. You've got work responsibilities, family commitments, all that life admin. And then on top of that, menopause throws in the anxiety, the brain fog, the disruption, the exhaustion, disrupted sleep. I know that you've read the tips, you've read all the Instagram posts, you already know all the things that you should be doing, but the reality is that you don't. And why is this important during menopause? So the hormonal changes you're going through lead to shifts in brain chemistry, which is why things like anxiety creep in, low mood, irritability. The important thing to recognize is that this isn't your fault. Your body's going through a huge transition. Stress plays a major role in that. So estrogen has protective effects against cortisol and other stress hormones. And as estrogen declines, you lose that kind of resilience and that ability to regulate. So even if nothing else in your world has changed, you're going to be feeling more stress anyway. So add in that balancing work, the family commitments, and you're going to be feeling worse. Now, your adrenal glands are able to produce a weak form of estrogen to help offset that. But when you're chronically stressed, they're unable to do that because they're having to prioritize your stress hormones. So it's really important for us at this time to focus on stress management. And in today's episode, I'm inviting you to look at that through the lens of space and privacy. So what could this look like in reality for you? So if you look at your life now, where do you get time just to zone out, just space to be? What's the balance like? I'm going to guess that that's probably a bit off. Now, I know your career is probably flying, but that takes more concentration now thanks to fatigue and the fact that your menopause brain just requires so much more from you. And then when you get home, you don't get time to decompress. There's always someone there wanting to talk to you when you just want to get out of your head and check out for 5 minutes. And then that makes you feel guilty because these are the people you love, right? You might have a bit of time before bed and you have this idea that you're going to read that book that you bought but never got around to. But all you actually end up doing is doom scrolling on your phone, which you know does nothing to help you switch off, but at least it's another distraction. So here's the truth. I know that there's nothing groundbreaking there, that you actually know all of these things. It's not that you need to know more. It's about putting these things into practice and making them all work for you. And I see this all the time. The women I work with, they come to me because it's not because they don't know what to do, but because they're completely overwhelmed by too much information and there's no clear way forward for them. And let's be completely honest, sometimes when someone hands you a plan, a ready-made plan, a checklist, or a set of rules for you to follow, you secretly want to rebel. You don't want to be told what to do. So you self-sabotage, you resist, or you do absolutely nothing at all. You blame the plan. And when you're kind of stuck in that cycle, progress is going to take you twice, 3 times as long. But what if the problem isn't actually you? What if we look at this from a different point of view? What if the issue is that the plans and the rules that you've been trying to implement just weren't designed for real life? They weren't designed for your life. So creating space, how is that important to supporting you and your experience of menopause? So menopause, I know, can feel completely overwhelming sometimes. And carving out space for yourself is Well, I think it's the key to supporting your nervous system and really giving you a way in to manage symptoms like anxiety, burnout, and overwhelm. I keep referring to space, but what does that actually look like in real life? So, there are some practical ways to design space that support your symptoms, and it's connecting the two up so you can understand why you're doing what you're doing. So, things like starting your day without your phone. So instead of rolling over, immediately grabbing your phone, heading on to the socials to see what everyone's been up to, how about heading outside for a short walk in the natural morning light? And this simple habit really supports your circadian rhythm, which improves your sleep quality. We know it reduces anxiety and it will help also boost your brain function. So there is research that I could point you to if you wanted that showed that 30 minutes of moderate exercise, so something like brisk walking, can help with decision making into the afternoon. And if you're suffering with brain fog and fatigue, those kind of symptoms, and those sort of things are really going to make a difference to your life. If 30 minutes feels too overwhelming, try walking snacks in a day. I do this, so breaking it up. So like short bursts of movement, like 10 minutes, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes after lunch, 10 minutes after dinner, are really helpful. But again, to create that space, don't kid yourself that putting on a podcast and listening to that is space. I want you to get out there with your thoughts, with your breath, and see how having real space actually clears away the fog and helps you process maybe some of the stress and emotions that you're feeling. Now, breathwork's my favorite. So breathwork is a direct way for you to tap into your nervous system and help regulate yourself. So I think the thing is to help notice when you're stressed. So feeling if your shoulders are tense, if your chest feels tight, if your jaw feels tight, if your breathing is shallow in your chest, you're maybe in this like low level stress response that's really going to be exacerbating your symptoms. So I have lots of other episodes with some guided breathing practices, but things I think if I just give you these couple of pointers for you to check in at various points in the day will be really helpful. So like things like relaxing your shoulders back and down, letting your belly go, soften your belly, and your breath will naturally drop down to become that more natural belly breath that helps to regulate your nervous system. And the thing is, when your nervous system is in that nice rest and digest state, it improves loads of other symptoms as well that you wouldn't even think of. So things like constipation, bloating, kind of IBS flare-ups. So just by being in that more rest and digest state, your body can work more optimally and help your hormones do what they should be doing. And then when it comes to the evenings, designing your evenings maybe so you can get better rest. So if, like I said earlier, maybe you have all the good intentions to go and read that book, but what you actually end up doing is getting on your phone and doom scrolling. You know that's not good for you. So get the book out. Have boundaries that tell your partner, tell your children that you're going up to the bedroom, I don't know, at 9 o'clock, and that is space for you. And it needs to be a routine, a habit. So your body begins to learn the cues that we're winding down now. And getting you ready. So again, tapping into those rhythms, your natural body rhythm. So working with your body, not against it. I alluded to it there about boundaries and having quiet time. So this is something that comes up in almost every conversation I have, how overstimulated you feel by constant noise, the obligations on your time, and interruptions to what should be your time. So carving out these quiet moments can be a game changer for you. So like 10, 15 minutes of not thinking, of complete stillness, of not tapping into another thing. So no screens, no talking, just being present. And you need to communicate that, like I said, to the people around you so they know that this is your time, and that how much that helps you. And that could be something like just sitting down with a cup of tea. If the weather's like it is today, with the sun out, you can like be looking out in your garden, hear the birds singing. So these small breaks give you that reset and help you show up better in all the other areas of your life. But this brings us right back to the beginning. So There's nothing new there. I'm sure you've heard all of this before. You have the information. You know what to do. The issue is making it work for you when you feel like you don't have the mental capacity to make it happen. And this is where my coaching comes into its own. I don't hand out one size all plans. Instead, I get to know you. Like, my superpower is being able to laser in onto the small day-to-day things that you don't really think are important, but are actually keeping you stuck. The feedback I get from the women I work with is they are blown away by how simple the changes are, but how much better they feel as a result, and by the way we work together to implement that. So the work I do, the coaching I do with menopause, it isn't about willpower. This isn't about having to be disciplined. This is about finding a way that works for you. So you actually do it and you feel the difference fast. Maybe at this point you're thinking, this sounds like exactly what I need. So who do I work with? I don't work with everyone. Coaching is a two-way process. The women I work with are ready to stop going round in circles. They're ready to start making real progress. They're action takers. So if you are tired of waiting for things to magically change, if you are ready to make your life easier, not harder, then I'm here for that. If you have listened to this and decided that, yep, I need this, I'm ready to go, this is my time, message me, email me with the word turning point, and we can talk through your options. Thanks for listening today. I always appreciate you tuning in. Let me know what you thought in the comments. If there's anyone that you think would appreciate listening to this, please share the episode with them. Thanks for listening today. I really appreciate the support. Have a good day. Bye.